Every year, some of the biggest names in Hollywood, music, and social media fly out to the California desert to go to Coachella. It's been dubbed the Influencer Olympics because so many of them go just to get a truckload of social media content. But what happened to those who couldn't get a ticket? In this video, we're going to be counting down the top 10 biggest influencers that faked going to Coachella. Number 10, Gabbie Hannah. In 2019, the YouTuber uploaded around 40 stories on her Instagram where it looked like she was at the Coachella festival. This confused a lot of people because Gabbie has always been talking about her dislike for the whole event. But it turned out, of course, that she actually faked the whole thing. With a bit of photoshopping, brightly colored outfits, and some carefully filmed videos, she was able to trick people into thinking that she was actually there in Indio, California. Apparently, it was her own personal experiment that she tried to prove a point about social media being fake. She came up with the idea after speaking to a fellow influencer who admitted that they were only going to the festival just to take pictures. In response, Gabbie felt like that was a whole lot of work for something that you're not going to be enjoying. So she decided to get the best of both worlds by getting her Coachella photos without actually having to pay for tickets or spending 3 days waiting for Ubers between her Airbnb and the main stage. She decided to stage the pictures at her friend's house on the lawn. She dressed up in colorful wigs and short shorts and then photoshopped Coachella crowds into the background. In the end, thousands of people were fooled and no one questioned the authenticity of those photos. So Gabbie really did prove her point about social media. Number 9, Nate Garner. The California YouTuber got in on the fake Coachella prank with his girlfriend at the time, Carissa Duncan. The two of them dressed up in party outfits and actually drove up to the location of the festival. They even stopped at the Coachella sign on the way there to take some photos in the desert. Nate and Carissa then changed into 2 more outfits. Then they did a full-on photo shoot next to things like palm trees, and they found a location that would convince people that they were actually there. Once they had all those pictures taken, the next step was to edit them and post them on social media. To make the whole thing look even more legit, Nate screen recorded other people's Instagram stories from inside Coachella, and then he posted them on his own Instagram account. Once everything was done, the two of them went back to their apartment and read their Instagram comments from the comfort of their own home. It's safe to say that they managed to completely fool their followers. It's really interesting to see how easy it was to make it seem like they were actually there, so it's no wonder that heaps of influencers do the exact same thing, especially if they don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a ticket. Number 8, Loren Grey. The TikToker recently set the internet on fire when she posted a video explaining that a lot of influencers lie about going to Coachella. She explained that some of them will just go out to the area where the music festival is held and stay in an Airbnb. Apparently they dress up and get their makeup done just to pose for photos without actually going to the festival. She said they write post up Coachella Day 1, Coachella Day 2, and they don't go to the festival. They don't have wristbands. They just drive their little butts out to the desert to take Instagram photos, make TikToks, get ready with me's, whatever. Then they drive back and that's it. Loren called Coachella the Influencer Olympics, and she said that everyone wants to make it seem like they went just because it's the place to be. She went on to say, so if you feel boring and sad because you're not at Coachella, just know that most of those people aren't there either. It's like a very common occurrence that I thought people knew, but I didn't see anyone talking about it. So before anyone else makes the horrible decision to drive to Southern California just for one expensive photo, might as well save time and money and just use a Coachella themed green screen. Number 7, Billie Eilish. It's one thing to fake being at Coachella, but it's another thing to fake being on stage. Back in April of 2022, the singer was headlining at the festival, but it wasn't actually her on stage, at least not during her intro sequence. Billie later revealed that she used one of her backup dancers as a decoy, and she put a disguise on so she could go into the crowd unnoticed. She went on the Matt Wilkinson show and spoke about how she pulled the whole thing off. She said, I had a body double, one of my dancers from the show. I dressed her up in a show look that I had worn before. We got a black wig and she put buns in it, and we gave her a mask and sunglasses, and she wore my shoes and my socks. I put her up at the back of the stage and she stood there while the lights went on and everyone thought it was me. And no one ever knew that it wasn't me. Literally nobody knew. While her backup dancer was on stage, Billie then walked through the crowd wearing a traffic vest and sunglasses. She then got to the end of the stage, took it all off and started the show. So the fact that she was successfully able to disguise herself for such a long time is crazy. Number 6, Vanessa Hudgens. The actress has been labeled the Queen of Coachella. She's been a regular attendee almost every single year, aside from when the festival was cancelled in 2020. There has been some long-running rumors on the internet that she missed out on a couple of years, but for the most part it does seem like she's been at the festival quite a lot. How do we know? Because when she doesn't get to go, Vanessa makes sure that that everyone knows about it. This year, she seemed to be missing out on the first few nights of festivities. She then posted a selfie on her Instagram story saying the Coachella FOMO is real. So it's possible that she still might be able to make the second weekend this year, but so far nothing has been confirmed. The reason fans are always so excited to see her make an appearance is because her festival fashion is literally next level. Vanessa's outfits have changed a lot over the years, but somehow she's always been able to set the trends. In the 2010s, she had a very bohemian look where she wore a lot of flower crowns, floppy hats, crochet tops, and ruffled dresses. Whereas last year, she wore a lot of bright neon colors and matching sets. Number 5. Niki Demartino. Fraternal twins Niki and Gabbie have pulled a few pranks on their followers by pretending to be in places that they're not, like when they tried to fake a trip to Milan by going to Olive Garden and taking photos from specific angles. Needless to say, they weren't successful since they failed to account for the weather and the time difference between their home in Pennsylvania and the time in Italy. Also because anyone who's ever been to Olive Garden could probably recognize the interior immediately. In 2019, when so many YouTubers were exposing how easy it is to fake being at Coachella, Niki addressed the trend and explained why influencers put in so much effort to make it seem like they are actually there. She said, "I feel like everyone makes Coachella prep videos, Coachella hauls, and uploads pictures to their Instagram stories and Snapchats, which makes everyone who is not going feel like they're missing out. According to Niki, anyone who cares about their social media is going to make sure they're at Coachella." She said, "You get to show people you are at the place you should be. It's almost kind of like bragging." So basically, most people that do go don't even do it for the music. They just want to get a truckload of content, which means you might as well stay home and fake it if you don't actually want to be there. Number 4. Byron Denton. The London-based blogger became well known for pranking his followers by faking a luxury lifestyle. So it was no surprise that he tried to do the exact same thing with Coachella. To pull off his elaborate prank, he got some help from his mom, who was also a graphic designer. He kept very secretive about his plan to fake going to the festival, which meant that some of his friends commented on his Instagram posts in shock. In an interview with Bored Panda, Byron explained his decision to fake it. He said, "It dawned on me that everyone who is seen as successful on Instagram attends the festival at some point in their life. As it was a time of year where everyone was heading to the desert for a weekend of music and fashion, I decided it would be a great time to go along too. Well, with the help of Photoshop, of course." Apparently, he fooled a lot of people, even several fellow influencers. Byron said, "The last thing I want to share about this whole experience is how easy it is to fake a lifestyle online. I'm no Photoshop genius, I don't have masses of experience in how social media works, which means just about anyone with a mobile phone can portray a life that may not always be real." Number 3. Anastasia Kingsnorth. The London-based influencer teamed up with Byron Denton to make a series of carefully staged photos in London that were later edited to look like they had been taken in the California desert. The two of them dressed up in festival clothes and reposted Instagram stories that were taken by actual people who attended Coachella. Byron and Anastasia kicked off the project by buying a ton of clothes from places like Boohoo and ASOS so they could look similar to those that were worn by actual festival goers. They then posed for a series of photos that could be photoshopped and later posted on Instagram. They went all out with this prank and pretended to take the fans on a journey from London to California, but the whole time they were using the backdrop of London's Westfield, along with a Starbucks coffee shop, to try and convince people that they were actually at the airport. Byron and Anastasia then posted an Instagram story that was actually taken in LA by another influencer. Although they both got away with it, their plans started to unravel when they were seen at another concert at the same time as Coachella. Eventually, they were caught faking their Instagram posts by several of their fans who were also at that same event. Yeah, that sounds like it would have been a little bit awkward. Number 2. Josh and Archie. The UK pranksters Josh Peters and Archie Manners have almost 1.5 million subscribers on their channel, and over the years they've become very well known for pulling off some truly elaborate pranks on YouTube. So it's no surprise that in 2019 they decided to cash in on all the Coachella hype by pretending they actually attended the festival. First, they got dressed up into the right outfits and added a little bit of messiness to it to make it seem like they had been partying really hard. The whole thing was filmed in Josh's bedroom, and they actually bought a portaloo and put it in his room so they could use it to set the scene. They then photoshopped themselves into pictures that their friends sent them from the festival. To make it seem like they were actually at the concert, they put fairy lights up in Josh's bedroom and set it up to seem like it was an actual party. But things became really messy when they posted a very obviously photoshopped picture to their Instagram, which their followers immediately called out. To save this from ruining their entire prank, Josh managed to find an old photo from when he was really at a festival to post online. The last thing he had to do in order to make it realistic was pretend to be hungover over the following day, and the whole thing worked out surprisingly well. Number 1. Eleni Sabracos. This content creator first went viral on TikTok after she made a video about Adele cancelling every single show she's ever tried to see, dating all the way back to 2016. Eleni recently posted another video on the platform called How to Trick People into Thinking You're Going to Coachella. It was basically a step-by-step instruction guide for social media users looking to fool their followers and pretend that they actually went to the festival. Eleni explained that you need to start Venmoing your friends for things like Coachella shuttle, after-party tickets, and flights. That's the first part of convincing them that you're planning to go to the festival. From that point on, you can start posting Photoshop pictures on Instagram, and those people around you are going to be way more likely to believe it. Of course, faking it on social media is also a good idea if you don't like the idea of camping out in the desert with huge crowds. This year there were more than 250,000 festival goers. And if you're going to go for real, there is a lot of work that goes into planning it. Buying the tickets 6 months in advance, sorting out your outfits for each day, figuring out meals, and how you're going to get from place to place. Honestly, it just seems exhausting and excessive. So what do you guys think about all the influencers on this list? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.